Yes, Cecilia's in the house. Yay. She's like, Rashida, you rock. Whoop. All right. And congratulations to all the new members who have already joined us today. I was just congratulating them, April and Natasha and Chrissy, who's jumping in. Okay. So with that said, I am super excited to have this conversation today with Rashida. Because Rashida didn't do the conventional route. She didn't launch right away when she entered into our Ignite world and community. She started just monetizing. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. And before we get into that, I want to take a step back and kind of let you guys know who Rashida is and her story told from her. Let's go and get started, Rashida. If they don't know who you are, so what was your life? What were you doing before? Tell us your origin story. Like how did you stumble upon this crazy world of making more money in a couple days than some people make in a whole year of working? How did this come about? What led you all the way over here? Go ahead.
I've been doing internet marketing for a couple of years, but I was really more on the e-commerce side, to be honest. So my background before even getting into anything entrepreneurial was I was a commercial finance lender. I did private equity and investment management. So did about $2 billion of funding, helping some really, really well-known large companies make a lot of money. And then when my daughter came along, I did not care about any of that. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be able to be there with her. And for me, it was a really important thing because I had that rags to riches experience of, grew up in the housing projects in Brooklyn, but then was able to get 2 Ivy League master's degrees and Columbia Business School and all of the things that people think is like, wow, you've made it, you're doing really well. But I knew that I didn't have the freedom to be the mom that I wanted to be or to have my own time and schedule and do things because I was still in a very corporate world. So when I left corporate, I knew that whatever I did next had to give me 3 primary things. The first was unlimited income potential. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere, and I wanted to be able to have the least amount of people between me and money. So things that were like people, real estate and all these things, I'm like, that's way too many steps and things that have to work perfectly for being, to get paid. And I always look at things in terms of, what can last. So not really a quick tactic or hack, but really building true sustainable businesses. And that was important to me. So when I came into the online space, e-com was really critical because it was like, I don't have to touch all this stuff and I can just find ways to make people buy things online. And then when COVID happened, shipments and things were not playing the rules as usual. So I was always like, how do I still, stay online and be even more digital? So I found Kim's program because actually, I was in another coaching program and someone mentioned GroupConvert, and they mentioned how they were using GroupConvert to build their business and to be able to get in front of other people and build their audience. And I honestly was, when COVID happened, I was like, okay, I need to do the same thing. And instead of going with the person who was using GroupConvert, I was like, wait, she has her own coaching program. I'd rather learn from the person who's made the thing instead of a student of or someone else who was just leveraging it. So I did the challenge. I did the same challenge that a lot of people have currently been going through and are excited about, and they're looking to see how they can incorporate this into their business. And I wasn't exactly clear on what we would be doing because I was already overwhelmed by just life. I was like, okay, single mom, homeschooling, second grader or first grader. And it was just like COVID threw everything upside down. And I just felt like there was, my main thing was like, I need help. I need people to help me implement and get things completed and actually do it. So I, saw how Kim was just clear on the roadmap and clear on lots of support throughout every single week, not even just, once a week, but like multiple times. And I felt more confident and comfortable in that way. So I moved forward. My tech background is minimal. I'm that person that's looking for the, passwords. I'm not a huge tech person, did 7 figures online, but I'm still not a techie. I would never call myself a techie or a tech expert. And I just really liked the way there was the opportunity to look at digital high ticket, as well as start getting my feet wet and really spoon feeding the concept of me having my own SaaS and software. I wasn't ready to go in the deep ends with, there were incubators and there's a bunch of people that are like, oh, join us. And I was like, it was a little too intimidating to go into some like major tech spaces because I didn't know what I would have built. But being in that, this is how it start off simple. It doesn't have to be this huge enterprise level thing. Just start off with something simple. That gave me a lot of encouragement. And then I ended up doing 2 Chrome extensions and then 1 larger platform that I'm really excited about. And that's what started the ball rolling recently with helping to get some clients enrolled in things. And I haven't even done the official launch yet. So things are moving in the right direction. It's taken some time, but it's almost like go at your own pace, but hurry up. It's definitely taken time, but knowing how to pique the interest of serious buyers and to have some offer that people know is credible and unique and really that they want. It's a lot of things that I've kind of picked up in these last several months of being in this group, and then just incorporating things that I had like as a vision, but I didn't really know how to walk it through and get it done.
Yeah. And guys, if you've ever experienced the same feeling as, times have shifted, things got shut down, things changed for you, let me know in the comments, #shift if things have shifted for you. I know a lot of my peers, some of my peers' businesses completely just like, whoop, all the way down, no more cash flow, and they really had to scramble around. So I feel like it's something that happened, but Rashida, you like course corrected really quickly. You're like, okay, I got to make this happen. And I remember what we end up doing, I feel, in the environment that we have for our people, we become solution, kind of like problem solvers. Not so much, hey, come in and do this one thing and that's the only thing you're doing, but how can we have it so that our ecosystem works with you? And I think you're like an amazing testament to, hey, I don't want to go that route, but I see how this can work for me. And right before our live event, you're like, hey, I closed $24,000 deal, and I was just ecstatic for you. Everyone at Ignite were like, oh my gosh, so cool. And I do remember, sometimes the traditional route that everyone else takes might not be your own. And you were one of the members who like stepped into software, even though you're not techie. I'm not techie. The other day, Monica was like, how do I import it to go high level? I'm like, wait, let me get Michael because he knows how to do it. And he jumped on. But like, there's a lot of hope, as I think this might be Nico. He said this, hey, Rashida. Hey, I mean, not Rashida. Hey, Nico. And hey, Rashida, because I read the name. Yeah, there is hope for you. There is hope for you because you can start simple. Doesn't have to be the enterprise huge thing. And the cool thing with diving into not only jumping into coaching high ticket, but also software is there's such a high perceived value of what it is. When I think about software, if you have a website and it's a software website, I'm just going to be like, oh my gosh, you're so big. You're like all the way over there. You own that site. That's crazy. And the impact that you get to have with saying, hey, this is part of my package is huge. It's ginormous. but it's something that not a lot of people step into so easily. So with your background, you've seen big money move. You know, you've seen what can happen. So I think maybe that played a role in how the approach to software was more simple for you. But can you dive a little bit deeper on like what we've seen together, how coaches or high ticket people, they don't want to even touch that space? What make it make sense for you to go that route versus I'm just going to put my head down and I'm just going to sell high ticket? What, you know, can you tell me a little bit? Let's unpack that a little bit. And Sharon is here. Yay, Sharon. Awesome.
So one of the things that always strikes me is how it was like, as soon as COVID hit, Logitech and every webcam maker went out of stock. It's like everybody who had a webcam became a coach. There were coaches that were like, I've read a page in a book and I'm going to be a coach. So I knew that I was not trying to be considered a regular coach or considered someone that just was, you know, a newbie fresh in the water. So for me, it was like, I've always done a lot of personality testing. I know a lot about myself. I know that I'm an introvert, meaning I think through things internally. I'm not outwardly expressive, but I do like to analyze different things. And I position myself as kind of the, like, it's always CEO or leadership. So I don't have to do any one vertical, but I do see how things string together, right? Like how systems work, even if I'm not the one touching all the buttons and pulling all the strings. And that was how I could see myself and feel really confident. That's probably the main thing for me. I needed to do something that was different, that let me, for me, feel confident that I was putting out something that would be unique and truly not like someone could say, oh, I've seen that before. Oh, so-and-so does the same thing. I didn't want to be a commoditized coach or consultant or put into a box, because I don't want to sound arrogant in a way, but I get really frustrated when people who have never made $1 question me having made 7 figures. You know, like no, my is good. Like, I already know it. I mean, if you don't want to take advantage of it, that's on you. But I know I have systems that have worked. So I wanted to make sure that I could put something out in the market that would be like a no-brainer. So again, touching money, always being in a position of giving money to businesses or helping people with business. I'm like, that's something most people cannot talk about. Internet marketing or direct response marketing with tech, with a marketing strategy mindset, those things as a trifecta, you know, those are the things that need to come into play if you're talking about a high ticket offer. So if you're giving something 5, 10,000, 20,000 or something like that, the person has to feel like there's value. You know, I give $1, you know, they give me $1, I give them $10 back or whatever. And being able to have software, being able to have my coaching program in a sea of other coaching programs standalone, I needed to make sure that it was high quality and that it was not something that I was like, I'm not sure people understand it. I have to take 5 different phone calls to close a sale. You know, I wanted immediate, like, oh yeah, you know, you represent money, let's work together. And that was kind of what it took me some time to flesh out, work out, but now it's here and the response is really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited for you. And you got some Chrome extensions underneath your belt as well. So yeah. You just dive into it without that fear. And I really like how you unpack that, how, you know, you don't want to be another coach, don't want to be another person. And especially showing up to a call and, you know, they're on the fence with joining your program and they haven't had success and they're questioning you whether you have a system that works when you've done it, when it's apparent, it's so apparent for you. And heyo, who's there? Let me know if you're just jumping in. We're in the middle of me interviewing Rashida, who's amazing. She's done over 7 figures. She has her own software. She has 2 Chrome extensions. She's an Ignite member. She's rocking it. And we're diving into her story right now about how, you know, these days it's really hard to stand out because when the shutdown happened, Logitech ran out of stock because everyone can get a camera and sit on their room and become a coach. And so if you are stepping into this space trying to sell high ticket, you're all of a sudden overnight, over the last year, you're competing against all these other coaches who flood the marketplace. So how do you stand out? You stand out by having a super unique offer, and it can be in the form of software. It can be simple. It can be, in my case, Rashida found us because of a very simple software, and it enabled her to trust us over another coach because that coach was using our software but not the source, and she wanted to go to the source. Yeah. And, which is super smart. And she's gonna have, for you, Rashida, you probably have the same effect. If someone's using your software and they're following your framework, who would someone who hears about it go after? Would they go with that person or go straight to the source with you? And there's a saying that I kind of emulate all the time. You are the client you attract. You are the person you attract. And you're just helping you a few years ago or 1 year ago get to your level now. And Sharon's like, you two are rock stars. Love how your minds think. Yes. Yes. So let's talk about why do you choose that software that you got into? You compare a lot of software with whatever, as a coach, what you coach, or you can have a software that's totally unrelated. So what made you think about that idea, how it would enhance your offer? Because I think this answer will also help a lot of coaches who are watching kind of walk through, hey, this might help me, and be able to pair it with what I have. So yeah, let me know.
So everything I do is under my umbrella of a business development program. And typically when people are in business, the finance and the funding part is something that they feel they feel intimidated by. And money, and being able to understand how to really use money and get that as a part of growing a business is something I did for 15, 20 years. So I was that underwriter. I was that person that would say certain people got money or certain people didn't get money. So I'm like, I have a level of comfort when most other people, if they even thought about having to go get money or do anything, they get like, oh God, they get stressed out. And I'm like, hey guys, like that was me. That was me on the other end that you never got to talk to. So if you ever want to feel like you can be, clear and get some real support and really get a lot of support. I knew that people were always intimidated by the idea of how do you access capital or how do you use money. And the other piece of it is when I had to come out of the e-commerce shell, I love e-com because my personality is not about being online, personal things like, hey, how's everybody doing? Like I am not running around and doing videos and all of that. E-commerce let me be anonymous. So now if I'm doing a coaching program or something that's more, business coach, insight, people need to see a little bit more about me. And I said, how can I make sure I don't sabotage my own success? Because I'm not going to keep that up. I'm not going to do that. So the Chrome extensions that I made were all about getting highly engaged content that I could model because I knew it was going to work. So I built two things, one for YouTube, one for Instagram and Facebook. So I can see, okay, what's already working, and then get thousands of pieces of content created in a few days where I don't have to rely on myself to promote and publish and do all that. I'm like, wait, there's tech that can help me with this. When I've done live events, typically we would have two groups of people. One was like, boost your brand and get yourself out there and post everywhere and make people, know who you are. And then I would close half of the event of people who were going to, buy into something. Because I'm like, guys, I don't do any of that. It's exhausting to me. That's something I'm not going to be consistent with. There's other ways to get authority or positioning without having to put your whole life on Front Street. And there's like this, oh God, thank God I didn't want to do that anyway. You know, like there's a whole group of people who that's not how they want to live their lives, or they might be at a certain level of their career or their private life. They just want to make money. They don't want to do that. So that's very key. How do you build positioning and authority and still have some level of anonymity or privacy and still be a content machine? So I made those 2 Chrome extensions after I saw how you did it, how other people did it. And I was like, oh, I can be a content creator and it still is robust without me having to drain and stress myself out. So those 2 things, you know, I think overall, I always want whatever I promote to be that thing I say, you know, listen, if people have to shut off bills, if they have to stop paying for anything, I want to be the last thing they want to shut off. that bill that they're just like, oh no, that's like our electricity, keep it on. So being a source of revenue, being that relationship of funding or a funding capital or some type of money, any business owner is not trying to shut off sources of money, you know? So that's how I wanted to position myself, where if people had to make an A or B choice, that they're like, she's got money though. Like, that's not who we want to get rid of. Or, you know, helping them with their business in terms of that. So, yeah. So right now it's like a full-on ecosystem of supporting businesses and making it where if it doesn't make sense for them, okay, I don't have to worry about convincing them, because I'm clear that there's plenty of other people who need, want, and are already looking for the things that we've identified. I think when you and I first met, we had that walkthrough of your product offer positioning and the framework around that. And just getting started with a clear framework and knowing your buyer, knowing your avatar, knowing how to get in front of them, it makes such a difference when those, you know, you get high highs and low lows. It's like you can just stay on track because you have confidence in what you're building. So yeah, so it's all those things, like make sure it works together, make sure there's speed as well, because if tech can do something that humans would take weeks or months to do, add that to the system, help it out a little bit. But yeah.
And I love the way you broke down that approach. You created tools that would solve your own problems first. So even if, you know, maybe someone else doesn't use it, you are already saving yourself tons of hours and time every single month. You're already doing that with what you created. And I think that we sometimes get lost in the, you know, I want to make money. But time is something that if you can invest in a software, simple software, to take all that time back, that pays in dividends. That is money. That is a lot of money when you value your time at a higher rate, right? So I really like that, and that's something that coaches struggle with. They say, "Hey, I gotta come up with some revolutionary idea to give me more leads, make me more money," when very simply they can start off with looking what do they don't want to do, what do they want to hand off, and they don't have to hire a full-on team member. They don't have to hire a human being. They could hire a software that they don't have to spend for the rest of their life paying monthly bills to, because you own it. You're not going to charge yourself, hopefully.
I'm very clear. Like, I'm not team no sleep. I'm not of the hustle and grind, team no sleep, and all of that. To me, it is, I'm a certain age. I need sleep. My health matters. I don't want to be stressed out. And when I know myself, and grinding is like, I'm not looking for labor at this stage. I'm not looking for the hardest path I could possibly take to make money. And there's no reason to. So for me, it's a reality check when people just like, yeah, you know, team no sleep, hustle and grind. I'm like, that doesn't impress me. What impresses me is getting the same result and I didn't have to go through 5 hoops and a bunch of different, quality of life. Having to manage the reality of what else is happening around me and the uncertainty of what's happening around me. I can't be grinding and tired and struggling with my own sanity, when we can just build some tools to help that out. So, and I think people appreciate, they'll pay a premium if you save them time.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, they want it done faster. Someone had the example of, if you're getting a tooth pulled, do you want the dentist to do it in 2 minutes, or do you want them to do it in 2 hours? 2 minutes. Like, I'll pay you whatever to do it in 2 minutes instead of 2 hours. And that's a lot of what I think, we've been able to talk about and help build over these last few months in the program, is building things that solve problems quickly, so people can really get their own goals and reach the goals that they're looking for. And you don't drag it out too long.
Yeah. I find that in the same line of, you are the client you attract. For me, I want to get the ROI. If I invest in any program, I want to get it back fast. And I feel like I attract definitely those type of clients into my world. And like, for you, you're like, hey, I don't want to waste time here. Like, there's no time to waste. I need to go get it. And I'm not going to do the rah, like, hey, I'm going to go live all the time route. I'm going to do this route. And what I've discovered is, when you, Rashida, when you position yourself as you are to look for solutions for your clients, it's so much more valuable than, oh, you got to do step 1 to step 17, then talk to me. Or you got to, spend 3 months watching 10,000 modules, and then we'll get going. And I feel like that's a large part of a lot of just programs out there, where they say that, hey, this is the framework, follow it exactly, or else, like, we can't really help you. And so, like, your story intrigues me a lot, because most people do follow it and they do have success. We have a lot of clients who just follow the 5-day challenge framework, the masterclass framework, and you're just like, hey, I want to do this my own way. How did the program respond? How did we help you craft that journey for yourself? Can you go a little bit deeper into that? You said that the roadmap and the confidence. Can you share a little bit more of your experience with that?
Yeah. So there's I will say this, you've got so much content that I look at our membership area as an encyclopedia, not like a book. So if we need to find something, I dive in there instead of going through it from front to end, because then it's just so much information that's helpful. But what you do is you have the short launch flow. So the resources are there, absolutely. And it certainly helps with VAs and being able to give them training and resources as people grow their teams. But you did have that initial short launch checklist that was like, here's templates, go edit. And at that point, it was really just like, okay, well, I just need to focus on my offer, because she's already given the nuts of how to do the traditional launches. My main thing was, because I'd spent so many years, and still, into some degree, I'm not a big social media personal poster with lots of followers and all of that. So for me to build the following and put my offer in front of people, that's a muscle that had to be exercised, because I'm literally not DMing people and going through that. But because you've got people who are really good at that, that's how everybody got here on this call right now. Because you've got people doing outreach in the DMs and being able to show people, this is how you connect. This is how it's possible to get buyers into your universe. That's the part that I'm right now implementing, now that my offer is solid and ready to roll. So just in a few conversations, just telling people, like, this is what I'm working on. The interest is there. We got a wait list building for our pre-launch. And it's just, you know, if someone is already used to connecting with folks on LinkedIn or on Facebook or social media, then they'll, you know, they'll fly. There's zero reason why they would have a problem with building audiences and getting people into their group, because, you know, there's that organic stuff, but then you show how to automate it and get a lot of highly engaged content where people will start to follow you. But outside of that, it's like whatever stage someone's at, if they're at the very beginning, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. I don't know what I'm going to sell. There's people in the program at that point. And then there's people who are like, oh no, we've already been doing 100,000 a month, or we've already done several launches, and they're still on the calls. They're still a part of the conversation, sharing information or strategies or wins or challenges. And what I think is probably the most helpful is because many programs show how to create an offer, but they don't always show how to sell the offer. And that's a really big thing. So when we have those role play calls and we go through selling scripts and, you know, pre-framing and indoctrination and getting buyers into a really serious conversation instead of just like social media chit chat, that's, I think, what puts money into someone's bank account, is knowing how to sell the thing and know that you can repeat it again once you get that skill set and you've done it a few times. So, you know, it's, yeah. So my take is, you know, I have to cherry pick because you just got a lot of stuff. I mean, that's, you know, I can't do the whole thing in all of that encompasses, because, and then you also have Chrome Boss. So, you know, that's just, if someone wants to be the student, there's certainly information, but to try to stay laser focused on the level or the one particular thing that you've got, you know, for me, I've had to kind of keep it narrow so I could at least get the product finished and then make sure that the stuff could be launched the way I felt confident in offering it.
Yeah, and I really like how you said you cherry pick it. And I think to go through a program and have to do step 1 all the way to step like 100 before you're ready is kind of, I feel, self-sabotaging. And the way that you approach it with, hey, I'll come in and I'm just gonna focus, narrow in on the very next thing I gotta do, and let me see in this ecosystem where I can pick what will generate me money, which is our sales calls, our role-playing calls. Before, at one point in Ignite, we didn't have that. And it came to the realization for me that, hey, this is not just one thing, it is everything. At the very beginning, it felt like it was one thing. It felt like, hey, come on in and there will be coaching calls and we're going to help you. And it felt very much that. But then later on, I realized, whoa, people need to know how to handle sales calls over the phone. And that doesn't mean it's one module they're watching. That doesn't mean it's a muscle, like you said. It's a muscle that has to be exercised. And in a community, when you have people from all walks of life doing $100,000 months, doing, you know, lower 10,000, 3,000.
Yeah, even $10,000. Like, it's 10,000 more than was there the month before.
Yeah, yeah, and 10,000 is a lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's I felt like it was really, really important to have that component, because we can't neglect everything else around the ecosystem that you form. And that's why we have to have as many coaches that we have. We have to have as many sessions, because we don't know completely where you are. It's only after you come in and you start having your own journey within what you want to offer that we figure it out with you. And I feel like that's the value in the live coaching. And I'm glad that you that you told me that you've reflected back. That means I'm like, yes, it's we're
seeing what else is also happening. So there's you know, everyone's got their own pace, but I think there's 2 things that really stand out. One, you're doing launches constantly. So I'm like, she's on another launch already. And I'm like, what have I been doing these last 4 weeks? Like, okay, just keep going. Just keep going. Like, she's doing launches every month. And I'm like, how fast time has gone, how many launches you've done versus me getting it together. So just being in the place where someone is actively moving, like, hey guys, we're on launch mode. We'll tell you the results and what happened on the next call. You know, that pace of you're running and gunning and being able to be like, okay, let me get off this Netflix and get back on my video, you know, push this over to my team before the night ends. I gotta hurry up. So there's you and how rapidly it feels like 4 weeks goes by, you know, and people who are also in the group who are like, okay, this one did this, or I did that launch and it was this kind of result. Like being able to see the differences of even what type of offers people have, because there are some niches that people have built groups around and they've launched around. And I'm like, you are kidding me. That's working. And it's so wide. Like not everyone is doing how to get money online. Not everyone is doing how to automate your business or funnels or marketing. I mean, there's so many different other niches that I'm almost interested to hear how is that working, because I might be completely oblivious as to what they think is going to make sales. And they're like, yeah, we did 40K in this offer, in this niche. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm talking about in particular? I was like, how big was the group and how many people did they sell to? And what was the niche? I mean, it's like small groups, very sideline niches that don't seem very mainstream. And they're pulling down more money than like most small countries can make in a day. You know, like it's just, I'm like, this is okay. So it's very motivating to not be alone, because certainly lots of challenges as any business has. But when, you know, the leadership team is actively launching and then you've got other people who are on their path, you know, people who started before me, people who started after me, it keeps the momentum, even if sometimes it seems like I'm, you know, swimming through mud. There's a breakthrough of like, oh, it's done. Now I can move on to the next thing. Or we get on a sales call and I get a potential prospect. You know, it's certainly like, just keep going. Just keep going. It's not going to be perfect no matter what program that you're in, but to know that there's everybody in the same swim lane going in the same direction, it's really helpful.
Yeah, and Rashida, to give you credit, I mean, you were pulling in some small countries can't even, you know, compete. Like you sometimes you tell me you're swimming in the mud and all that, and I'm like, but look at what you've done. You've accomplished so much, and it's just I feel sometimes we you know, coming from, I feel we share a background of coming from, you know, poverty, coming from you know, not having as much when we were younger, and that struggle. And so it stays with us. A piece of it stays with us, where we're kind of harder on ourselves than we, you know, sometimes we're a little bit hard on ourselves to keep on moving forward. And let me know, you guys, those of you who are watching right now, give me a heart button, smash that heart button. Let me know if you find this very valuable, because like, when I hear you say that you joined us and it's motivational to see us still going, like last month was extremely busy. We had our live event at the multi-million-dollar mansion, took everyone out, had an amazing time. And then right after that, I flew to Tennessee Gatlinburg to speak at my friend's event. And then the Monday after that, we did our own 5-day challenge. And my team was like, Kim, when's our next challenge? And I said, oh, it's going to be the end of this upcoming month, right? Right after I go to Alaska for a little bit, and then I'm going to be at Funnel Hacking Live, and then we're going to do our event. And one of my team members, she was like, are you going to be okay? And I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? Just kidding. But for me, I love investing and being part of a community where you see the movement just happening all around you, that we sometimes forget it is so abnormal. Like the the 1% of people actually are able to run this fast. And so the hub that you're in, even though it feels more normal now, is still very much what most people won't ever touch or do. And that's why it's, I feel so special to be in that environment, so that it becomes, oh, like, okay, that's no big deal. This is something that I can do, something I can step into, and it doesn't have to be as grueling, as hard, or as confusing as I think it might be. And so I like that it's motivational to you. My team got a little bit scared for me, but I'm like, we'll still do this. Let's go.
Well, you guys are responsive. That's the thing. Like, there's a concierge chat. So even if you might be moving around and doing a bunch of things, we're all still plugged in. Like, I would be a little bit salty if the coach or the head of the program was just like traveling on vacation all the time, and you couldn't, ask a question because they're on holiday in some way. And there's people who are just like, no, we show up once a week and I'm relaxing, and you're going to see pictures of me having fun. And you're you, Kim, are working. Like, you're not flying all around and doing stuff that's unrelated. It's stuff that's building not only your business, but things that will help inside of the program, because you're like, this is a new update. This is what's happening now. And it's very much in alignment, as opposed to you like, look at the new Porsche. Like, which one should I get? The orange Lamborghini or the yellow Porsche? Guys, you help me out. That would piss me off. I'm like, I'm over here working my heart out. I need you to seem like you're helping me, So I'm like, yes, girl, go to Funnel Hacking Live. Go to the other retreats. Go to all the masterminds. Have at it. Go for it. If you need to take a little water break, we got you. But there's a big difference of people who are, like, we don't know it. You're still on the chat and in the group and doing the same sessions, because there's so many sessions every single week, that we don't slip because of access to you or the team or something like that.
Yeah, and I have to give amazing credit to all of the team. It's because we are plugged in. We genuinely care, and it feels like I am blessed to be able to. And after a while, the way that I see it is that if to be a good leader, you need to not only be able to enroll you, Rashida, into this vision, into being able to step into this version of yourself. It's also to enroll team members. It's to enroll. Everything is an enrollment conversation, to be able to attract that environment. That's a great hub. That's a healthy hub. Because I do sometimes hear nightmare stories about programs that dismantle because of drama or things. And I look at our environment and I don't see that at all. It's non-existent. It's because we really care about each other. I do know that other Ignite members, you jump in and you help others. They'll jump in and they'll help you. And I had a client telling me, he told me, hey, Kim, if the outside of your hub, if everyone else in the world was like the people that you built, the people that are in your world, then the world would be such a nice place to exist in. And I felt like that was so heartwarming. I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh, who is this? Finally caught you live, Rashida. More power to you. Great achievement. Let me know. Go ahead and type in your name, because we just see Facebook user here. And Sharon says, that's true. We get hard on ourselves. Very true. So Rashida, so I love that you say, hey, there's a call all the time. We do have, I think it's like a call a day now. And what you mentioned that's super important to me was, I'm out there, but I'm not just like willy-nilly just doing nothing at random locations. I'm actually going and attending things where it will accelerate my growth, and it will help me figure out what's that next step, so that I can share it with you guys and say, hey guys, like, this is what's working. This is what's going on. And I think that, like, I don't know. It feels very natural for me to do that because I love doing that anyway. I love being able to do that, and I'm glad you're supportive versus, hey, Kim's over there and I'm working my butt off over here.
I didn't mean you shouldn't have a life. I just meant that you are feeding into things that like you enjoy, and it's business as well. Like business and vacation don't seem to be so crazily one-sided.
That's a great point. I have friends who look in my world and they're like, "Oh, you're just going to business conferences?" And I'm like, "Hey, look."
Yes, I'm going
I'm like, I'm still going on roller coasters. I went clubbing. I went to Vegas. We like had amazing food at Christine's event. Everyone was taken to a brewery and to a hiking. So this world, how things have shifted, has enabled us to have business, yes, but still have a life. And I think at the end of the day, that is what's truly important, to be able to enjoy your life and not have, you can't have a very clear divide. But I mean, Tyler, he's interrupted by his child walking into a door when when he's on camera, and that's totally fine because he's at home, he's enjoying his family. It's, and he gets to do that. So
because they will walk into doors when you're on camera.
Or they'll crawl across or something. Yeah, or they'll knock off your camera. Who knows? But I like that we get to be organically who we are, and we can show up. And even if you choose, like Rashida, you're like, I don't want to go live all the time. Even if we choose not to live that type of lifestyle, we can still financially be abundant. We can, in the comfort of where we are. And that kind of reality that exists now, I'm gonna say, like, it can exist for almost everyone, but it's very clear that only the people who are like courageous and brave enough to just try it and really risk it, despite all the outside world judging us, looking, at us weirdly, and still stepping into that. I think it's a beautiful journey to be able to travel. And I am glad that you chose to travel it with us. Like, I feel like you're so helpful. You have massive success with enrolling your clients, and you're not only a coach, you're a software CEO, and that embodies what we have going on. And guys, if you are, if you're thinking about whether this is right for you, I want you to know that it's not just about 5-day launches. It's not just about converting into your group.
I've never even done the 5-day launch. I'm still planning my 5-day launch. 8 months in, I'm still planning my 5-day launch because it's so many other things.
Yeah. It's helping you figure out how to monetize in a way that fits your lifestyle, your beliefs. And Rashida is living testament of that right now. She hasn't done any 5-day challenges, and she got her offer down, and that offer is converting. And so it is now being able to get more eyes on her, which is the very next step. I usually my interviews are an hour, Rashida, and this hour has been like it flew by super fast.
I forgot it was a crowd of people. I just felt like I was talking to you.
Well, you don't see everyone else watching. There's 9 people watching live right now. Hey guys, if you're watching this live, #I'm here, so Rashida knows like that you're watching. Sharon is here. Me too. Thank you so much for helping me.
You're welcome.
So where can they find you, Rashida? Can you tell us like what is the best, because someone watching might not jive with me. They might go and jive with you, with your offer. Cecilia's also here. Hey, Cecilia. Yay. And then Facebook user is #I'm here. Okay. Rashida, what is it that you help people do, and where can they find you to get that help? And then also we have another Facebook user. I'm here. Yay.
I help coaches get paying buyers for their programs. So I help get money into your business and help you enroll more people. And the best way to get in touch with me is right there on Facebook. So just find me, Rashida Mendes, on Facebook.
Yeah. And Rashida walks the walk and talks the talk. She was at our live event and she was literally helping people get funding. So definitely hit Rashida up if you have a program. So who's the best fit for yours? Is it coaches? Is it people who have high ticket offers? And then they're talking to a lot of people who are like, oh, I really want to join you, but I just need to make the financials work. That would be the best fit for your world. So guys, this is a service that I know almost every single coach needs, every single person selling any high ticket. If you sell a bunch of low ticket offers, maybe not so much, but if you sell high ticket and you have people who need to get lending and get loans and get financial help before they can join your program, and it's because they got that's why they join your program, then definitely speak to Rashida for that. And Cecilia says she helped me take my site away from WordPress and save some money. There, Rashida is just helping everyone, all the left and right. So, all right, cool, awesome. Thank you.
This was fun.
Super. I am so appreciative of you showing up today. So thankful that you're in Ignite. And I am super excited for what's to come for you now that you've nailed your offer and you're enrolling. And yeah, let's see how many other countries the enrollment eclipses. Because I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Charles, maybe Charles, who did like $48,000.
No, there was another person before Charles who was like a group of it was an industry. It was more like B2B and helping people in that very unique industry enroll more clients. And they did like 40K in one of their first months. I don't want to say his niche, but you know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It was a craft space. I'll put it that way. It was in the crafting space.
Yes. Crafting space.
With an E?
Yes. I don't want to like blank out live. So
no, it was like well, it was a niche that is in the crafting space. So it's a male selling to mostly women.
Embroidery.
Yeah, I didn't want to shout out his niche. But I was like, embroidery.
Yeah. Christopher Blakeman, he found me through GroupConvert too. He started using it.
So there's this guy doing a coaching program to embroidering companies, mostly ladies, and it was like everything he said was not what I would have stereotyped. And I know I would be profiling and stereotyping, and that is completely wrong. And he proved it wrong because he made over $40,000 in something that was completely unconventional. And he's like, this was great. So yeah, you can do it in any niche. You can do it with whatever you've got. They'll show you how to help pull it together.
Love it. Okay, Rashida, I love it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you inside of Ignite. Bye, guys. Oh, yeah. If you liked that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.